Hello world and all who inhabit it, it is I, the Great Saiyaran, and today I just want to know, why does everyone hate digital games?
Wow.
Oh,
That's terrible.
that makes sense. As always, be sure to like the video if you like it, comment what do you think about digital games, and subscribe to see more content from me. When I got back into gaming heavily in 2020, thanks to a little icky sticky, I decided that I would go digital. I had done most of my gaming at that point via cell phone, like mobile, and so it just made sense for my lifestyle. It was the most convenient. I don't mind digital. It's easy, it's convenient, it's easy to manage, but we can all be a little short-sighted. See, we tend to see things from our perspective and then apply that perspective to everything else. We don't always see the future. We don't see what else there could be. And the people who can typically get called out for their takes. But I have one now. Digital is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's very lucrative, and that's that. For the first time ever, digital sales are overtaking physical sales. And I'm not here to advocate for digital. I do have a digital PS5, an Xbox Series S, and a PC, but I also have a Switch, and I do play a lot of physical games on Switch. I just give them back to whoever I borrowed them from. Physical isn't bad. I just prefer digital most times. For me in my life, I have a wife, I live in an apartment, and I have a kid. So not having discs that could be easily broken or cartridges that could be swallowed is really good for keeping my family together. Digital isn't the issue, mostly. It's the digital age of gaming that's the bigger issue. I think a lot of people confuse the two. Like, having digital media isn't bad. It's actually pretty common. Imagine getting a movie on a DVD or a Blu-ray. People still do that, but majority of people just stream it. So like I said, digital media isn't the issue. It's the digital age of gaming. And DRM is one of those issues. DRM is digital rights management. It's the big spooky boogeyman that changed the way we game forever. It was created in retaliation to PC gamers who would, after downloading or installing the game, would rip the game and dump it on the internet or share it with their friends. So people would take that game data and they would either manipulate or copy all of the content, and so that infringed on the copyright. Thus, DRM was born. So there are many ways for DRM to work, and one of the most popular ways is always online. This is you having to be connected to the internet at all times to play a certain game. Now at first glance, always being connected, always being online, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, especially in 2022. Most people have a reliable and serviceable broadband internet connection and can support an always online game. It's on the flip side that's the issue. It's when you pay $70 freedom for a game and then it goes down for 30+ hours because of server maintenance. That really stinks, especially when it's not a multiplayer game and it has a largely single player aspect to it. Why is always online needed for these games? I did not buy Gran Turismo 7. It didn't seem all that interesting to me, but I have been seeing the horror stories, and I'm just here to say that Gran Turismo is just the latest in a long line of horror stories. It's safe to say that gamers are not a fan of DRM, even going as far as finding ways to get around it, even if that means that they're technically hacking the game. But a more annoying part, at least to me, about the Gran Turismo situation and this digital age of gaming are microtransactions. Microtransactions are basically a business model where you use physical real money for virtual goods inside the game. This is usually attached to free-to-play games, meaning that you get the game up front, it's free to play, and then if you want to spend money later on and get different cosmetics or skins or things like that, then you can spend actual real-world dollars, and that supports the devs. And believe me, no one has a problem with microtransactions on a free-to-play game. It's when it gets predatory, it's all in your face, and you need to spend money to progress that really gets people upset. I love Apex Legends. It is one of my favorite games. I love the lore, I love the community, I love the gameplay, I just really enjoy it. So I have decided personally that I don't mind spending money for the battle pass or buying some coins to support the devs and support this game that I have fallen in love with. Buying the battle pass and in-game cosmetics, it doesn't make you a better player. I'm still trash. It gives you a unique way to express you and your love for the game. So I enjoy cosmetics and things in games where they're fairly priced. Mostly. For me, when I'm beginning to see games that are full price, a full $70, and have microtransactions that are tied directly to the progression of the game, that's when it gets really upsetting and gamers get upset because no one wants that. You're just milking us for our cash. And I'll add an extra layer on top of that. I may not be foolish enough to buy a $70 game and then spend all my money on the in-game microtransactions, but there are kids and people who aren't as close knit inside the gaming community who would, and I really want to protect them because That's a crazy way to spend your money. It's downright predatory, and there's no other way to describe it. It's predatory, and we don't like it. That's not directly tied to digital media, it's just tied to the digital age of gaming. There's the difference. Digital media is fine. The digital age of gaming sucks. Another thing with the digital age of gaming is that since you don't have that game physically, you don't own the game. If there's an issue with licensing or that digital storefront, webpage, platform, server, whatever, if it goes down, so does your purchase. You do not have that purchase. You don't have that game anymore. This one I feel indifferent about. There are games I go back and revisit often, but mostly I play a game and then that's it. If I really want to replay a game I no longer have, yes, I know it's a dirty word, but please let me explain my views on emulation. I think that you should always try to play a game on original hardware as best as you can. If that's no longer an option, then playing the game via emulation on hardware that is directly supporting that title via backwards compatibility or maybe a first-party emulator, that is the second best option. If none of those are an option, or you just want to play Nintendo games, then you know what to do. There are a lot of ways that the gaming community has upheld the preservation of games. Look at Titanfall 2 community. They have created private servers so that people who are actual players and not hackers can get into the game and experience the multiplayer, because it is a great game. And while that is possible, that shouldn't be the case. There should be a better way to preserve these games, and in the digital age of gaming, it's like companies are actively trying not to find those ways. I guess what I'm trying to do is separate digital games from the digital age of gaming. No other industry has this issue. Imagine not being able to listen to an album after you purchased it, digital or not. I think we're just going through a rough patch though. The power is still in the hands of the gamers. Recent failures like Babylon's Fall, which was a live service attempt by Square, and recent successes like the single player non-DRM Elden Ring has me hopeful for the future. People are gonna vote with their wallets. We have to vote with our wallets. We as a community control the trends. I love me a good session at Apex, I really do. But I also love a good short 10 to 20 hour game with a start and an end like Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. But it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video if you like it. Comment down below how you feel about the digital age of gaming and subscribe to see more content from me. Your boy Sayer Ran. Peace.